What's up, everybody? This is Kenny Cummins here of Chilling with Kenny C right here on TMVcafe.com, bringing you entertainment to your ears. I got my guest with me. I've known him for quite a long time now. He's been on the grind on the local hip hop scene. Went through a name change, and he's looking to take off, and he's doing his thing. His latest single is called "My Rep." Is available on all the streaming platforms right now. I'm gonna try not to butcher his name because it changed a bit. Pegasusnow is
Yup.
with me right now. What's good, man?
Hey, not much, man. Doing great. How are you?
I'm good, man. Great to have you on. It's been a very long time since I last interviewed you, so thanks for being on.
Absolutely, man. It's great to be back.
So before we get into where you are now, let's go back for a moment.
Yeah.
What made you go through the name change?
Um, I had I guess the last material I did under the previous name, um, I released a project that I was really proud of, and then I had a follow-up. I had several batches of follow-up material planned up, and for different reasons, those didn't work out. And then I also began doing my own music and producing my own stuff. So that's something that I had done before. Um, Probably began in my teens sometime, like when I was 14 or so, and got a little more professional with it around 18 and 20. Had plans to do an original music and production album, and got a lot of it made. So yeah, so this time around, this was just kind of me coming into myself fully. And I figured I'd already changed my name before too, so why not just do it one more time, right?
Yeah, I definitely I forgot what the other name was.
Yeah. Well, we were Cobb, Ransom, and then Distant.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. Yeah. Distant. I definitely remember that name for sure.
Yeah.
So you mentioned like doing the stage that you was going through. You starting to make your own beats now. I mean, you've
Yeah.
always done that from time to time, but now it's like you really going full throttle with the production side. How has that been for you? You know, getting the hang of it, getting more comfortable with it, trying to figure out what sounds right, what doesn't. Like, how's it feel for you getting more comfortable? Being a full-fledged producer with your music.
Man, I tell you what, it's extremely exciting, man. Like I'm 29 years old now, and it really just it makes me wish that I had done it more, man, that I had stuck with it back when I was like 20 and 21. I mean, I've always been composing music since then, but actually getting in there and getting the beats laid down is another thing. When it started, I released my first album, this Pegasus Snow, last year. I just began with what I remembered from working on it back in the day. So took some tricks from that, and through making through making that album, um, I just sort of began to develop a foundation for I guess what would just kind of become like my own style, my own production style. Um, I tried to make a note of it from the beginning too, simultaneously to just producing and getting work out, to also begin developing a unique sound. I wanted to make something for and from Lexington that was inspired by Lexington. So I began work on that, and then I guess I'm coming into my sophomore album right now, which I plan to have out sooner than later, probably sometime before May this year. And through making that, um, and leading into my junior album, which will be out in May. The junior album is where we've come into like full fledged with what we believe is our own sound that we finally got after spending those couple years to develop that. We call it Blue Drop. That's something we're going to primarily showcase on the third album. But as far as the sophomore album and production goes, huge difference between the first and the second album. Like, after we kind of got our feel back, and once we got that practice on the first album, we just it really made everything downhill on the second album. Which our initial approach for the second album was going to be more in songwriting and composing. We weren't as worried about doing so much of the like technical production that we had done on the first album. We really wanted to focus on making anthems and just like memorable songs that get your blood pumping. But we ended up it's ended up being a massive effort, and we've definitely covered a lot of ground with production as well as a musical style that we kind of developed ourselves that we used on the second album. If it's okay, I'll just tell you a little bit about it real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
But basically, it's called Slop. And in embracing the organicness of the songwriting and the production and arrangements. So basically, what's happening is like I'm beginning to make the beats and the pieces on this second album, and usually where I would go back and clean it up a lot, I decided not to do that with a lot of the pieces on this album. So in embracing that organicness, um, we ended up with something that kind of came off with an intentional off rhythmness at times. Like not enough to where you can't keep a beat with it. Like it's enough where you can rock with it, but just a little bit of off kilteredness that gives it some life. And that's also as a result and inspiration of jazz music that we listen to all the time and we're a big fan of. And so we came up with the term slop, which was a reference to the word like sloppiness of it. And then we turned SLOP, SLOP, into an acronym for sentient lag of pace, which is just kind of speaking to the intelligent off rhythmness that we've got going with it. And then another characteristic of that you can hear a lot on our second album with that off kilteredness is going to be heavy and interwoven percussion and rhythm. So, um, yeah, man, it's been um, exhilarating getting back into producing, and in a lot of ways, I like it as much, if not more, than the vocal side of thing and the rap side of things. I've been able to basically do back to back albums with completely different sounds. And I've my plan is to keep releasing albums in the future, and I've already got ideas for where I want to take those albums. So I'm really optimistic about the evolution and the sound and the style for all of this music that I've got coming.
Yeah. So you definitely, I do remember album number one. You did had a album release show,
Yes,
and
yes,
I was
man. I
there.
remember you were there, and it was that was like so. Just some context for people that was kind of a failure a little bit. So I had a sound system for that, and we ended up not being able to hook it up and use it. We had a subwoofer for that.
Yeah,
So last minute we brought in like a clip speaker that I had that was already blown, and we tried to use it for the event, and it really didn't do justice to anything. You could hardly really make out. Like I don't know if you were able to make out some of it, but it was really hard to tell like what was going on. We ended up shutting that down early, like not long after you left.
yeah. So yeah, I definitely remember the speakers. I remember
Yeah,
the sound system that day.
yeah,
Um, things happen, and you just got to do what you got to do, make the most of whatever. But
yeah,
at least people are at least getting a feel of who you are as an artist and where you're going with this music. So, look, you gotta start somewhere. You're going through this new name, you're going through this evolution as an artist. You this is what you want to do for the long haul. So, album number two is coming in May. I want to get into this lead single you got, man.
yeah,
This lead single is called My Rep.
yeah,
And talk a little bit about this track, man.
yeah. So I got something I'm kind of running right now. I sort of live out of this place, and it's what I'm calling an independent record label, something I've started called Flying Fuck Records, which has the number 360 incorporated into the name, which is a connection to our area code 859, which 8 times 5 times 9 is 360. Um, so my rep, I do all of my recording here. I've got my own studio set up here. Uh, and so I've been working. I've basically spent all of last year and a lot of this year working on the sophomore album. Near Probably sometime last summer, I began also having sessions for the junior album because I just knew it was time to get a start on some of that material. But it was sometime last fall. I was just recording here in the studio, and I made a beat, which the single "My Rep" it doesn't do the best job at showcasing how the album is going to sound, but it still is a different production approach than what I've done on the sophomore album. But the beat was made relatively quick. I think I may have initially freestyled. I think I freestyled and then like sat down and wrote the song out and went back and re-recorded it. But it was done extremely quick. It was done within probably an hour. I had the whole thing recorded. I recorded the whole song in one take, one vocal take, the choruses and everything. Um, and I just was really excited about that song. I loved the kind of adrenaline that I got from the melody, and just with where everything was at and with what some of the lyrics said, I found it appropriate to make as the lead single for the junior album, and um, I wanted to go ahead and start advertising that album as well. So even though the second album wasn't out, I just wanted to go ahead and get that out. Also, just put some pressure on myself, but mainly to have something and something that was, really single worthy. Like that is like one of the more single worthy pieces I think that I've made. So it felt right to use it on that move.
Yeah, so when I heard this track, I was definitely digging it. Definitely took me back to Carl Williamson days
Yeah,
with that particular track. Going back to your roots per se, even when you going through this new evolution of as an artist, you're letting people know, hey man, I still can spit the bars too, bro. So my rap from Pegasusnow came out January 2nd of this year. It's available on all the streaming platforms. So go check it out. That's going to be on album number 2. It's coming out in May of this year. So keep an eye on that and check it out, man. Anyone that's been following his music throughout the years, he's really been working very hard. Just just showcase more, like he's more than one dimensional as an artist. He's trying to, showing the production side. He's showing all kinds of vibes that he can present to you all. So Pegging the Snow, he's got a lot in store this year. So and it's gonna be showcased in this album coming out in May. So we are in February right now. We are in mid-February.
yeah.
So do you plan on releasing maybe one or two more singles before the May release?
Man, I think I'm done on singles. I've definitely got better songs that I'm eager to show, but I think I've kind of got everything exactly where I want it, man. My rep was a good way to leave off. I think that song was strong enough to hold people over for the 2 or 3 months. Like we're looking at the Self Destruct album probably this month or next month at the latest, and then we've got Wild coming in May. So I think I'll just wait to show the bodies of work off to people. But if we need to, I've definitely entertained the idea, and I have the pieces capable of delivering on those ends. But as of right now, we're probably just going to show off the bodies of work.
Gotcha. So for those that may have lost track of you, with the name change and everything, where can people find you in social media?
Sure. So So the rap name is Pegasusnow. I've got an artist page on Facebook, Pegasusnow. You can find me on Instagram at the THUH Wildcat 859 on Instagram and at Pegasusnow 859 on X. I've got several different producer names. So on Self Destruct, my producer name is Eyes Closed, but on Wild, what my rep is produced by is the Wildcat. And there's no page or anything for Eyes Closed, but the Wildcat, I do have several pages. That's THUH Wildcat on Facebook. You can find those. On Instagram, it's Lynx LYNX Rufus RUFUS 859 on Instagram, and then that's the Wildcat THUH Wildcat 859 on X.
All right.
So we've got those two sets of pages. You can keep up with everything on there. Currently, no shows lined up. We would love to perform. Just right now, we're having a great time recording and putting material out, kind of gearing everything up for that. Having these bodies of work and getting those ready to perform at the appropriate venues. But in the meantime, we're just having a great time making this work and sharing it with the world.
Gotcha. So everybody, check out the single, My Rep, by Pegasusnow. It's available on all the streaming platforms. Be on the lookout for the upcoming album coming out in May. And he'll keep you posted on all his social media sites for more info on that. One thing I noticed from Mr. Snow here, from the previous times that we have seen each other, you talk about the man has evolved as an artist. He's also has evolved with his love of sunglasses, his shades. Every time I see him these days, like he got the shade game going. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's evolving, literally and figuratively. So yeah, props to you, man, on just being comfortable within yourself with this new journey as a musician, and I look forward to seeing hearing this new project in May. I want to thank you for being on the show. It was good to chat and catch up with you
Absolutely.
on some things, and
Yes, sir.
I look forward to the May release, man. Thank you for your time.
Great. All right. Thank you, Kenny.
All right, man. You have a good night.
You too.
All right.